Okay.
And then it should say agendas.
Oh,
See it?
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and just click on agendas.
Agendas and minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
And then our meeting should be the very first on top.
Got it. Okay, that's where
Go to agenda packet, we'll have, this today, we only have one report, but the packet will have everything.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't know where to get that.
It's the same place where you would go to get city council minutes as well.
Okay.
Okay. Katira, are we still waiting?
Okay, I just got notification. We're ready to go.
All right.
Should I?
Chairwoman Super, do you want to start or with an introduction or do you
Yeah, I'll start. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. It is Wednesday, December 9th, 2020. I'd like to call the meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner McCauley,
Here.
Commissioner Barbarigos,
Here. Sorry about that.
hello. Commissioner Almeida,
Here.
Commissioner Arata,
Present.
Commissioner Burling,
Present.
Commissioner Escontrias,
Present.
and Chairwoman Super.
Here. Commissioner Burling, can I ask you to lead us in saluting the flag, please?
Let's see. Katira, do you have a flag for us?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it should be on the screen.
Okay, I don't see it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag of the
United
United States
of America
America and to the republic for which it
For which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all.
for all.
That's fine.
Okay, and then I'd like to move to call for a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
This is Steve. So moved.
I'll second that.
Let's see here. Do we have any blue folder items this evening?
There are no blue folder items tonight, Chair.
Okay. And then moving along to our consent calendar. May I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, great. And then we move to approving the minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And now I would like to make a motion to approve the October 14th, 2020 minutes.
I will make a motion.
And second.
Okay.
All in favor.
All in favor? Aye.
And then public.
Do we have to all
would you-
vote on that or? Doesn't
I could do a, could take a roll call for the approving the consent calendar. Did someone make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're voting on Commissioner McCauley,
Yes.
Commissioner Varvarigos,
Yes.
Commissioner Almeida, Commissioner Arata,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes for Almeida too, sorry.
Okay. Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Commissioner Escontrias,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Super.
Yes.
And for the record, there are no e-comments or Zoom participants for the consent calendar.
For the consent. Thank you.
Okay, so, and do we have, so my understanding then is that applies to H. There's no public participation on agenda items versus.
There-
No,
There's
that was
actually-
for the consent calendar.
Oh, I
This is
see.
for
Okay.
F.
Okay, so then we will move then along to H, public participation on non-agenda items. And I'll read this.
Receive it too?
Oh, yes. So I'd like a motion to receive and file participation on non-agenda items.
So moved.
All right, so we did receive one e-comment. Katera, you want me to go ahead and read it?
Yes, sure. If you have access to it, yes.
Okay. It is from Warren Chen. Good evening, commissioners and staff. Below is an abbreviated text of a letter to the City Council regarding the skate park and as it pertains to Franklin Park, which was sent on September 14th, 2020. The letter also included 53 signatures from residents near Franklin Park, along with other regular users. The signatures and original letters sent to City Council can be found on this link. He provides a link. Text of the letter: Dear Mayor Brand, Christian Horvath, City Council members, Ted Simon, and John LaRock. We request that Franklin Park be removed from consideration as a location for a future state skate park because, one, the skate park would change the serenity of the park to a regional park, which is out of character of the neighborhood. Two, the volleyball court is currently being used extensively for mixed use, including volleyball, pickleball, biking, skating, and scootering. To remove the volleyball court would mean excluding more park users of open, smooth surfaces rather than skateboards only. Point three, because Franklin Park is serene, the ambient noise would carry to both the homes that face the park on Fisk and Ralston lanes. Four, the ambient noise from the skate park would be detrimental to the Friendship Foundation and their mission as their business/clients need calm and quiet surroundings, which a skate park does not bring as a skate park and Friendship Foundation facility is so close to each other. Point five, given the current Redondo Beach budget shortfall for 2020 to 2021, and likely for more years to come, the cost of $450,000 is excessive. Six, an alternate location from the volleyball court of the skate park is not to be considered as that would significantly alter the serenity. Point seven, Zulaker Park was not part of the City Council motion as a possible skate park site, more so than that Franklin Park should be removed from consideration too. Eight, the skate park would be a better fit to the Galleria, Anderson Park, or Pad 10. We would like to keep Franklin Park as is with regular maintenance. Keep Franklin Park the Serenity Park as it was originally intended. Sincerely, 53 signatures. And that is the e-comment for public participation on non-agenda items.
Okay, thank you. I forget what we usually do about this. Can we then have a discussion and ask questions about the items?
Or you can make a motion to receive and file.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So I'd like to for sure make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
I guess I'll make a first to motion. I'll make the motion. Is that how it works? Do you need someone else to make the motion?
Somebody just made the motion, I believe.
And seconded it, yeah.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure. I thought, wasn't sure if the president is not supposed to make a motion or does it matter? Not the president, but the chair. I heard a second, but I never heard a motion.
I'm sorry.
If that
I
makes
thought
sense.
Commissioner Burling made the motion.
Oh, I thought we're not there in person. I thought you were making the motion. I was seconding it. I think he needs to make the motion and I'll second his motion.
Yeah, Berlin and okay, Barbarigos. Okay. Okay. I never remember. Do we need a receive and
To
file?
make a motion to receive and file the non-agenda item.
And I'll second.
Second or third.
Katia, do we need to vote on that as well?
No, the e-comments are going to be retained for the
Okay.
record.
All right. Great.
Okay, and then if now received and filed, so is somebody allowed to now make a motion to discuss that item?
You can discuss the item.
Okay, are there any of the commissioners that would like to make a motion to discuss the received and file non-agenda item that was just brought to our attention?
I have a question. I'm just wondering. Oh, raise hand. There we go. So my question was were these comments, was it made to an actual plan that has been released by the city so far as location, or is this just a preemptive statement that they wanted these certain locations taken away from the I guess the palette of potential parks for a skate park?
See, it sounds like this was already sent. It's sent in September. And then one of my items on a verbal director's report is that the plans went to council on an update, went back to them on October 20. So
Yeah, I thought from my understanding, they were looking at the location at Redondo Beach Harbor, the Octagon, as the location for the skate park, but
right, in Perry Park, I think.
Perry Park. And so that's why they're saying they didn't like the Perry Park suggestion.
Yeah, so the timing makes sense. This was done before it went to council, so.
But I also understand just from all of the years of talk about skate park and what we've been building here, it's not just talk about a skate park. We are talking about one major amenity or two major amenities for the city, but we're also talking about many small micro skate park amenities that can be found and sourced through small parkettes, through all around.
All right, Commissioner Barbary goes, I'm just getting a message from our deputy city clerk stating that we can't have a full discussion on the non-agenda item since it's not agendized. But we can talk a little bit more about that when I give my director's report. And of course, you could always at the end of the meeting ask for to bring back a fuller discussion of skate parks as well. Thank you, Vicki.
Okay, so we'll move forward. Are there any items continued from previous agendas?
There are no items from previous agendas.
Okay. So then, shall we move along to item J1?
Yes.
Okay, so we're moving to J1, city emergency orders in response to the novel coronavirus and impact on recreation facilities and amenities.
So as you know, everything to do with COVID is very fluid. So the report that is in your packets really was the same report that John LaRock gave to you in October. But we added playgrounds closed as of Monday, November 30. Again, since everything with COVID is fluid, I'll ask you not to pay attention to this report at all because we did get a new news release today, dated December 9 from the County of Los Angeles Public Health. And the playgrounds are going to be reopened again tomorrow. So let me just go over just a reminder. So what still remains closed are card rooms, wineries, breweries, distilleries, museums, botanical gardens, zoos, aquariums, personal care, including hair salons, barbershops, and nail salons, and family entertainment centers. What's changed? The following activities are permitted with safety modifications, including required mask wearing and distancing. Standalone grocery stores, retail stores, and shopping centers at 20% occupancy. Restaurants for takeout and delivery only. Parks and trails. Outdoor gyms. Libraries at 20% occupancy. Playgrounds updated. Again, that's new as tomorrow. And schools and childcare. So as soon as the report was typed and sent, it was outdated. But again, today, new release from the county.
Just a quick question about that, about what you just read. The new, what you just read to us comes directly from the LA Department of Public Health and not
Correct.
just the state of California.
Correct. Because what was interesting is we were told, I think this morning, that the state said, hey, you could go ahead and open up playgrounds. But then next to that, that's coming from the LA County. LA County said, but this afternoon, we will send out our notification because we want to be closely aligned to the county. And so then that's when we got this notice.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't see the hand sign on how to raise my hand on the screen. I don't mean to interrupt. I have a question regarding this and the opening of the parks. It's my understanding that Manhattan Beach has declared the sidewalks where they put the restaurants out in the street like we did in Riviera Village. They had declared those parkettes.
Public
Is it
space.
something we're
Yes.
considering?
Yes. I believe that the LA County folks have already been kind of scoping out Manhattan Beach as well. Because I think, that was kind of an interesting way of addressing outdoor dining. So we'll see how that goes or how long that lasts.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was clever.
Okay, so then,
Excuse me, I have a question and my hand's up.
oh, I'm sorry, I see hands. I believe that I actually am not the one that sees hands, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see it either.
Oh, Chair Corinne Super, do you see on the right hand of your screen a white bar with all the names?
Yeah, I just see, no, I either see speaker view or not.
So at the bottom of the screen, there is participants.
Yes.
Number 10. So click on that.
Okay. And that'll show me if somebody's hand is raised.
And then you'll see the hands.
Okay, because when John did it last time, he was the only one who could see raised hands. So.
Can you
Okay.
see it now?
No, I mean, I could see it too. And
Oh, I see.
from there, you can raise your hand. The buttons are at the bottom of the white.
Right, I see that. Okay, all right, cool, great. Okay, sorry, Commissioner, it was Almeida, was that who it was?
Yes. So at the last meeting that we had with John, I brought up the same topic. I'm going to raise again here. Beaches were open. It was the middle of October. It was full activity pretty much for outdoors. And Avenue C stairs were closed. And about a week after I brought that up, he looked into it and
Oh, is he frozen? I think he's frozen. Wait,
What happened?
he's frozen.
One sec.
So yeah, sometimes if you turn off your camera, I've noticed that helps. Oh man.
There. Oh.
It happened.
Okay, oh, he's back.
Back.
Sorry, Commissioner Almeida, do you want to continue?
yeah, so I'm not quite sure where it dropped out, but I'm just, I'm still confused as to why the LA County Beaches and Harbor believes that Avenue C is a spot where they need to chain up and put things there where nobody sits and congregates for any length of time on those stairs. It's used for exercise. It makes no sense to me. It's not, there's no stagnant anything happening there. It makes more sense. I'm not a fan of the restaurants closing, but closing the restaurants makes much more sense than closing stairs that are used for physical activity. Nobody can on the stairs.
Yeah, I did see that notation. I went on the LA County Beaches and Harbors site today, and the only thing that I saw was that when they have a list of closures, they did have beach access or some beach access. So I don't know if they did it because of that or because there could be a lot of people, you know, even though it's outdoors, exercising and getting a little too close. So I'm not sure what the exact thoughts are of the county as to why they did that. But I know people miss having that open.
Well, I'm going to reach out to them personally then and see what their reasoning is about that, because it honestly doesn't make any sense to me.
Who would have the authority to close those down? Would it be the county?
LA County Beaches and Harbor.
It's LA, yeah.
Because that's not, like, as Redondo Beach, we can't do anything about the stairs then, right?
Right, because it's county.
Okay, should we wait for J2, the director's report, for making any commentary that we have about any more of these COVID, enforcements on our recreation facilities, or shall we discuss now?
I don't have any COVID-related items in the director's report, although something may come up. So, are there any questions?
I do have a question now. My hand's been up.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm still not seeing hands, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Participants at the bottom of your screen, to the black screen.
Yeah, no,
Yes, not.
yeah, I'm not seeing it, but I'm sorry. Yes, Commissioner Escantrillas.
Okay, the question would come up is the Wilderness Park, maybe I misunderstood that Botanical Gardens are closed as well? Is that what you indicated? And if so, would the Wilderness Park be considered a botanical garden as the definition from the county?
Oh,
I'm not trying to put it. I'm not trying to close it. I'm trying to see if we can get around it.
right.
That's the thing.
But it's on our list of parks, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I believe that the botanical gardens have been open this entire time since March.
Right. Okay, but so the list that you read, are those places that are open or that are closed? I'm sorry.
Botanical gardens are lumped in with museums, zoos, and aquariums, which are closed.
Okay, so I would hope that we would ensure that we possibly look at the definition of what the Wilderness Park is and determine that it is not a botanical garden, although it does have flora and fauna, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully, so that it does not get caught up into that from someone who's a little overzealous in definitions. And we can address it before it becomes an issue.
My hand's raised. I'm pretty sure it's not classified as a botanical garden or any type of garden. It's just a wilderness park. It's
wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as I'm looking at it being more preemptive in if someone were to walk by there and suddenly feel that there's an issue, that we at least said we've addressed it, we've looked at it, and this is what we've determined, and that's it. And before it becomes an issue, and there's a question about it. That's all.
I do know that Redondo Beach does not have any botanical gardens.
Okay, as long as by that definition we don't, and
we don't.
So no one and nobody tries to declare it as one, that we can still allow people to utilize it and still be safe.
So I see one panelist has a hand up, but I don't see who it is. That's the issue.
Gil Contreras.
Yeah, I will take it down.
Okay.
There it goes. Thank you.
Okay. Do any other commissioners have any questions or comments as to item J1? Okay. I will raise my hand then if no one has any questions or comments.
I have a question related to J1. So effective immediately, we're taking down the yellow tape on all our parks and parkettes. Is that correct?
We received the notice today and Public Works will take care of that tomorrow morning.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
So my comment is that everything with COVID is super fluid, as we know. Tape can come down, tape can come up. I mean, easier when you're using just tape, unlike Manhattan Beach and Hermosa, who have fenced their parks so that people cannot enter them. However, with a fence comes a sense of, for lack of a better term, there's no confusion over whether or not something that's fenced is closed or open. My concern here in Redondo with our parks is that, and our parkettes, is that given changing state and county regulations, it's very unclear to members of the public whether or not things are open or closed. Part of that is just that we don't have adequate signage, I believe. But the other part of that, can be human error, people tearing down signs, people tearing down caution tape. But it is very confusing, even for somebody who is, intelligent, when they walk past sometimes to see whether or not something is open or closed. And I don't know if it's just a matter of, we have so many parks and parkettes that given the changing nature of this, that Public Works can't stay on top of, defining it as such. But it is, it's a sad situation, I feel like, for members of our community, because they are very confused sometimes about what they are allowed to do or not do in parks, or especially now, because the signs are just very general. They were just slapped up there by the state, or, the state language, the state signage that we're using, when every other surrounding beach city has very specific signage, very specific to their community and their residents, and we do not. And I'm not trying to make any kind of statement one way or the other about whether things should be opened or closed or not or whatever. I'm just saying,
communicating the message.
Yeah, we need to be better communicators via our signage about whether things are opened or closed. Clearly, judging by these stairs, the county makes it very clear when they're doing their signage, and I just feel like we need to let members of the public know, are masks required? Are they not? Is it open? Is it closed? Do you need to be distanced? Do you not need to be distanced? There's which areas, there's an area that my kids play all the time, a couple different areas of Fulton, Parquette, as well as Perry Allison, and those areas don't have playgrounds. So there's actually no signage there at all. I believe at Fulton, there's just one sign that says, please observe distancing, which sort of makes sense because there's no playground there. It's just people playing ball. But it's just some consistency that I think, some parks have signs, some parks don't. Parks have different kinds of signs. I mean, for example, Dominguez baseball field, where Redondo Beach Little League normally plays when they're up and running. The dog park is swarming with people, with dog owners and dogs. And yet it very much looks like those fields are shut down, which by the county and state, they're not even required to be shut down. And yet there's still signs up saying that they're closed. Yeah, we just need to get on top of this. And I know Public Works has a lot going on, but, people need to be very, the members of the community need to be told everybody's confused. And, we really need to make sure that we're, doing our part to, to communicate.
All right, I'll take a look at the signage.
Yeah,
I haven't been making the rounds yet, so.
Yeah, well, no, and I mean, and we don't need to spend a lot of money on this. I know we have budget issues, but we definitely need to kind of up our game as far as a strip of caution tape is not gonna cut it when something is closed.
Can I respond to this, please? Hands up.
Yes.
Okay.
Trias.
I'm sorry. Yeah. On this, I think it can be very confusing, mostly because of the county. Actually, the city is somewhat confusing. The county is even more confusing, and the state's even more so. The other side you have to kind of take in consideration is that Manhattan and Hermosa Beach are very aggressive in enforcement. And to them, it's more of a mission to them is to have people comply. Where the feeling I'm getting in Redondo is more of an adult approach of saying that you're somewhat responsible for yourself in what you do.
Yeah.
Now, I've spoken to people from Public Works as well, the employees, and many are indicating there are people who will pull up in the morning when there's tape or signage and tear it down. Okay, because they somehow, that's their protest, however they want to do that. So I think what occurs is that this could be very much cost prohibitive if we've got to go out there and now buy, fencing and such like that. I understand that there can be some confusion concerning what is and is not open. However, I believe that there's quite a bit of money that's being spent by a lot of different entities putting the word out that if someone does not kind of understand, or the different outlets that are out there, that I think it's incumbent on them to kind of maybe look for other places for it as opposed to putting up signs and such for that. And again, the Public Works people that I've talked to is saying is that they're getting it from the tape being taken down or people putting it up. As far as the ball field, there are people over at the ball field, Dominguez Park. They're actively cleaning it up and working from the Little League, because I've seen them quite a few times. So if there are signs up, who knows who's responsible for putting them up or taking them down. And again, I understand the concern, but because it's so fluid, it's somewhat, I think, a little more cost prohibitive. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Arata?
Thank you. I don't know where to click down here. I invited myself.
Anyway,
I was also reminded by our city clerk's office that if you don't see hands or anything, just to do the good old, yeah.
Thank you. Because the COVID is so fast moving right now, as soon as we get the signs up, then they're going to have to be down and changed. Don't we have this information available on the city website, maybe under the facility information or something on the main page telling the residents to comply to the county?
Yes, we are making sure to keep up with all the different changes from the county on our website.
So that would be helpful for the community.
I've got something too.
Yes, Commissioner Almeida.
So besides obviously the city-run parks, we're also dealing with a lot of Redondo Beach Unified School District parks that people sometimes are confused. Alta Vista is a great example of that. One side of the park is city-owned. The other side is Redondo Beach Unified School District owned. And on the city side, Redondo Beach has been, there's been no enforcement that I have seen as far as any police officers, enforcing anything. If anything, it's taken an educational approach for the little bit that I've seen.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. But on the school district side, if there are any organized teams at Alta Vista on the school district side, there's literally people that come, specifically one, that comes on the weekend after hours and tells people to leave. And, I've thought in my head, what happens if they pick up the phone and call the police for the enforcement? Luckily, all of the teams that have been running their little practices and getting their kids the exercise that they need have left quietly and haven't stirred anything. But to add to the people don't know what's right, what's wrong, they go to Alta Vista, they see teams playing while things aren't being enforced. It's, the school district has made it very clear they don't want anybody on the school district side playing any kind of organized sports, practices or games. Even though the state says no games, the school district says no practices on their grounds at all. So there's a lot of confusion about it. I don't know that signage will do the trick. I think if people really want to know what to do, they should go to the Redondo Beach site, our city site, and get the information from there. But the truth is, all those people that are practicing know that the school district doesn't want them there.
Commissioner Almeida, who is asking people to leave? Representatives of the
School district.
Oh.
That's interesting. Commissioner Varvarigos.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with a couple of things commissioners have said, and just Commissioner Almeida as well. I don't personally think that trying to keep up with the signage is the biggest issue. We all have to check out the stuff on our own, and you have to go to the websites to do that. You go to the city website, you go to the whatever is released from the county, and that's how everybody has to do that. And so whether or not it could be that tomorrow morning Public Works forgets a certain park to take down the tape, but that doesn't mean that it's not open. It is open. And so the edict has been made. And so sometimes it's the signage and it's the tape and it's the stuff that's kind of a hassle and it gets in the way. I personally don't think that increasing our signage is what we need to do either. But getting the message out there and letting people know that where they can turn to find the most updated information, I think that's the most responsible. That's all we can really do to keep up, because it could change tomorrow. That's all I had to say.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that we spend a bunch of money making new signage. What I'm saying is that the language of the signs, Redondo Beach is known for trying to distinguish itself as an individual entity that's, very much independent from the state. And we've just slapped on a bunch of state signage with state language, and we didn't even bother to individualize the language for our own city, which I find A, lazy, and B, inconsistent with much of the charter of this city, not to mention C, a potential liability issue for the city. So, I'm not saying, hey, let's, go out there and more regulations and more signs, but I am questioning the decision to just slap on state signage when all of the other surrounding beach cities have tailored and individualized. I'm not talking about enforcement. We all know full well that nothing in this city is going to be enforced unless it's an actual crime being committed. So let's not get caught up in that. But, the language of these signs is important. Because the truth is, a lot of this stuff, whether closed or open, is going to be in existence for some time. And so I feel like we really have to take a look at what we want this to say. A lot of people take their kids to the parks and they don't go looking at the website first. And I'm not sure that we can sort of blame them for that. A lot of people just head out and try to go to the park. And, yesterday it was open and tomorrow it's closed, or, today it was closed and tomorrow it's open. So, whether or not it's open or closed, I do think we have a responsibility to not just go, oh, people are going to do what they're going to do. And, to sort of go, oh, we're fine with the state's language. I think no matter where you stand on whether things are open or closed, that we need to look good and confident as a city is like what we're saying, outside of our parks. So, again, not a statement on whether things should be open or closed or not. I'm not making a statement at all about that. What I'm saying is that we really need to, not just kind of go, oh, people know what they're doing. They look at websites, because many don't. So that's my 2 cents. Yes, Commissioner Arata.
I agree with you in some senses, but in another sense, I don't. I mean, I think that especially in this pandemic of times, that people you would think would, with modern technology, check the website, for the safety issues. I mean, to roll out, I don't know what the cost is to roll out the signs that you're speaking of, the Redondo Beach signs, and all tailored to the city. I mean, I think that it was time was of an essence.
I have a question as well, or with that, I'm sorry, was there anything else you had, ma'am?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Fine.
I understand what you're saying, because one of the things we also have to be concerned about is overly signage to where nobody reads anything. Okay. I think, and please don't take this wrong, that someone may have to, either from the community or from this commission, pull the sign down and specifically point out what are your concerns, and if need be, that we ask that the city go back and look at them to maybe possibly a very, very generic sign that's going to go back up. It'll say something like, due to the fluid of this, somehow, please go to this website or call this phone number. Again, no phones at the city work anyway. But unfortunately, we are going to miss people, because although 99.9% of the people do have some technology in their phone, you're always going to get that one person who says, I don't have it. But I think we need to do is, if there's a concern about this, that we revisit it and be more specific as to what language we are not comfortable with, and then what language we would prefer in order to making sure that we are reaching the most people. Again, like I agree with what you say as far as that what was thrown up there was probably in the time of the essence and very generic and very general rather, and probably very much of trying to scare people, whatever, because that's all they had at the time.
Yeah.
So I think if we now that we've kind of settling back a little bit, that we can revisit some of these and be able to be generic in that. And that way, again, like I'm saying, for information on whether or not this park is open, please go to this, please do this, please do this. And that way the sign can stay up and we don't have to constantly change out the sign or get somebody angry. An example, one of the things that the dog park does on its website when it receives email, people will ask, is a dog park open? And the question is answered with yes or no. However, please follow local city, county, and state laws or rules, mandates concerning distancing and whether or not you have to wear a mask. So this way, what it basically does is it kind of puts a responsibility back to them to be responsible for their own health. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. I think, maybe I'll get a second on this. What I would like to do at this time, just to wrap this up, is, unless anyone else has anything to add, I'd like to just make a motion to have City Council revisit the COVID signage outside of all of our parks. And with nothing specific, just revisit it and make sure that as far as liability and as far as clarity, and as far as sort of fluidity, I suppose, that they feel comfortable with the signage outside of the rec and park, outside of all of our parks. I'm just not sure it's something that has even been considered. So that's my motion.
I'll second that. I think it's fair. You can raise a question and ask them, with the fluidity, and just revisit it, and we'll know it's all good or not good.
Commissioner Vabrigos?
Yeah, I just have maybe I'm not understanding something correctly here, but is the chairman allowed to make a motion? From my understanding, the chair was not allowed to make a motion.
What I would suggest in this situation is, for this specific report, the recommendation is simply to receive and file. What I would suggest is that we move forward with that, and then at the very end, when you have your referral section, that we could add the signage referrals.
I'm not sure if that answered my question.
That I don't know if a chairperson could. I don't know.
And again, I could be wrong. That was just what I was trained, I guess, when I was called as a commissioner years back in different commissions. I thought that the chairman, and I could be wrong, but I thought the chairman is not allowed to make a motion. Someone else has to make a motion, and then someone else has to second it. I'm not disagreeing with chairman. I'm just wondering about the process, because it's something that's been coming up, and I know that the chairman Corman Super has made a few motions, and I'm just wondering, can we check into that?
Tara, do you happen to know the answer to that question?
From my understanding, no, the chairman is not, they would need to have someone do it and then someone else second it. So no, the chairman cannot make a motion.
That's fine, but have I made any other motions prior to the one I just made?
I don't believe so. You made something, but it was for something that didn't need a motion in seconds. It was for public participation on non-agenda items. That doesn't need a motion or a second. It's received and filed for the record regardless. And you guys didn't vote on it. So no, you have not.
Thank you.
But yes, as Lori was saying, you can make a referral to staff at the very end. To get a second,
Yes.
you can do it at that point in time.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Katara.
Commissioner McCauley.
I think that's helpful knowing about the chair not being able to make a motion. I didn't know that. But I think the referral idea is better in this situation for what we're trying to accomplish here, because you want to direct it to the city staff probably more than the city council. And either way it goes, for me personally, I'm looking in the folder and I see a play it safe signage. Is that what we're talking about? That is at the parks? Is that the only signage? Or before we go forward, I'd like to actually see what the language is on the signs.
Yes, I can go around and actually, perhaps for next meeting, if it's relevant, actually take some photos of what I'm talking about. That signage is at some of our parks. It is not at all of our parks, not even close.
I'm all for making it clear and be consistent across the city. I just, I'm not sure what sign we're talking about. So
yes, that is the state-sponsored signage, which we are the only beach city that has that signage up. All of our surrounding cities have signage with language that is much clearer, as well as much more specific to their community.
And tailored to
their residents and their community.
Yeah, because this is pretty generic.
It's extremely generic. Yes, and it's not even at all of our parks.
Okay.
Okay. So if there's no motions or no other communication about this, I will move on to J2, the director's report.
Chair, I would just like to say there's no public participation for this item.
Thank you.
And then before we move on to J2, Chair, I think we need to do a motion just to receive and file.
Oh,
Make a motion to receive.
Second.
We have to vote, right? All in favor? That's the chairman.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right? Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Barbarigos,
Aye.
Commissioner Almeida,
Aye.
Commissioner Arata,
Aye.
Commissioner Burling,
Aye.
Commissioner Escontrias,
Aye.
and Chair Kerman Super.
Aye.
All right. I did have a conversation with Chair Kerman Super to introduce myself. And I mentioned that I wanted to just start doing what we do at the Harbor Commission. I currently also work at the Waterfront and Economic Development Department. And it's a verbal report at the end of the meeting called the Director's Report. And it's just a compilation of updates and things going on at meetings. Some are specific to recreation and parks, some are related, or some are just generic that everyone should know about. So since it's not agendized, we could talk briefly about it, or if you have a few questions, but we can't go into a full discussion. Again, if something on the director's report kind of sparks an idea, we can talk about bringing it back in the next meeting or future meetings. Does it sound good?
Great.
Okay. So the first item was approved at the December 1 meeting. And basically, agreement was approved with Avalon Roofing to install a new roof on the Morel Historical House. I think probably a 40-year roof, badly needs it. Cost will not to exceed $102,000. The number includes a 10% contingency. The contract is December 1, 2020 to November 30, 2021. Project will take about 4 to 6 weeks, and they hope to start shortly after the holiday, based on, of course, weather. Coming up, 12/8, well, not coming up, the meeting we just had yesterday, a couple of the council members did ask to have a presentation from the community garden folks. I think they talked to you in October. So I'll be making arrangements for that. At your February meeting, I'll have an update on the strategic plan. So the council is currently reviewing a matrix of objectives and goals. And once they determine kind of the top picks, they'll come back to discuss strategic plans at another council meeting. So by your next meeting in February, I'll have something to report on that. Also at your February commission meeting, you'll have a park conditions update report, and that will be given by Public Works. Just a reminder, the hand launch, and this goes back to my waterfront department, but the hand launch behind Seaside Lagoon was removed on November 16. We remove it every 2 to 3 years just to take care of any damage. We do that during the winter. It will be replaced about mid to late March, but you can still launch your kayaks or your handheld or your hand-carried watercraft from the Redondo Beach Marina. If you know where the boat hoist is, that is the general area where you can still get in the water. As I mentioned, the skate park, the updates went back to council October 20. And part of the update was Harbor Commission feedback. And basically, they wanted to share that with the designers. So there were 2 main concerns from both the businesses and the commission. And one was the actual use of Pad 10. Right now, that is the main event space down at the pier, used for movie nights, Halloween parties. I mean, you can have Halloween parties and different activities. And so they wanted or hoped to have a skate park design that, whether you can have some removable items or just have some open space that they can still utilize it for some events. And then the second concern was just general access, skateboarders accessing the pier area, going to Pad 10. They didn't want, they're concerned about, mingling with pedestrians. So those items were provided to council and to the designers, and engineering is working on the RFP and they hope to distribute it in December. Council's really wanted to move on the skate park. So the dog park signs that you approved, I don't know when you approved them, but they are currently being installed in 19 parks and parkettes. And depending on the size of the parks, each one will get anywhere from 1 to 3 signs. Again, something generic, if you don't already know, every year council, we take to council a request to have free holiday parking in a couple of areas of the city, if you didn't know that. One is the pier. So the pier has 2 garages, And we started last Saturday, the 5th, and all the way through January 1. If you go down there anywhere from 8 in the morning to 10 p.m., parking's free. And Riviera Village also has a waiver of parking meter fees, same dates for South Catalina Avenue and Pearl Street. Encourage you to make your way to those areas of the city. And then our upcoming meeting obviously is February 10. And I do have a question for the commission. Did Director LaRocque recently send out the 2020 Commissioner Handbook? The updated one? Did you happen to get that recently?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so I will be sending that out next couple days for your review. Okay. And that concludes the director's report. Do you have any questions?
Commissioner Rodriguez?
I just want to make sure I heard something. There were a few things you said were you were expecting a report on our next meeting, February meeting.
Yes, park conditions update.
Park conditions update.
They must give that every so often.
I heard you also said something about the community garden. What did you say about that?
Just at last night's commission meeting, last night's council meeting, 2 council members specifically asked to bring the community garden presentation to them, because they knew that they had given you that presentation in October. So they're very interested in that. So.
Oh, I see. But there's not, that wasn't like tied to the February. That's just gone into a request to city staff, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. And the other February meeting, we should have an update on strategic plan.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have a question.
Oh,
I'm sorry. So will you be taking Mr. Rock's, I guess, projects and caseloads and such, and so we would refer anything to you?
Yes, yes. Like I said, I am the manager over at the Waterfront and Economic Development Department. So they needed someone just to fill the gap between John, Director LaRocque leaving, and having his replacement.
Okay. Now, do we anticipate a replacement to fill the position, or is it just? Do you believe it's going to be just a shifting of personnel? Just got a little curious.
Oh, I don't know. I would assume, though, it's that they would do a recruitment for the position.
Thank you.
are there any other questions? Yes, Commissioner McCauley.
Did the garden people narrow down any other locations? I remember they were kind of open to several locations.
I have not been in contact with them. My first day was November 30.
Okay.
So I haven't, I'll talk to them shortly. But what is your question?
They're just wondering because they had not really pinpointed a location for where they wanted to go. So just
did they have, I know we can't, it's not agendized, so this may be the last question, but did they have multiple locations?
They did discuss a few locations, yes.
All right.
If I could answer, I just know that right now, the next step is that the city council hears the presentation. City council has put it on their 6-month or the strategic plan to have a community garden. But location right now is not so much the city council. They'll have to make an order basically to city staff to find the appropriate spot. So I think that what we heard from Laurie already is that it's kind of on track, that we're going to hear in February an update to the strategic planning session that prioritized the community garden. And then we'll see if they talk, hear the full garden presentation in front of city council. So that's my
yeah. So hopefully by the time we meet in February, I'll have an update for you as well on that.
Okay. Okay, then I think if that's it, we will move on to item K, member items and referrals to staff.
Ready.
Okay, I saw Commissioner Burling's hand first.
Okay, I thank you for your report of what's going on in some of the other areas. That was very nice. I'm also wondering that since we have some new commissioners, and since this year was somewhat truncated a little bit with missing some meetings and just all the change, that at the next meeting, we could maybe have an update or sort of list of accomplishments that we did in 2020. And then maybe an update on those various projects that are sort of underway, like the pickleball court and some of these things. And then what are sort of our goals for 2021? If that might be a good agenda item or for us to have, or for the staff to come back and just give, maybe as part of the director's report, just an update of where everything is.
We'll definitely need some assistance with that, with the 2020 accomplishments. Okay, I'll give that.
Maybe more like 2019, Commissioner Burling.
Probably.
Yeah, well, it's been a blurred year, so, but I imagine, ma'am, it would help you get yourself focused too while they're recruiting to get caught up to speed too. And like I said, bring all the other commissioners up to some of the really good things we were talking about until we were closed down there, because we don't have quite the people coming down to talk about various things anymore.
Okay.
Okay. I think I saw Commissioner Rada's hand.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to make a referral to staff for my input on the item J3 from the agenda on the last meeting, Dominguez Park Playground Replacement Project. On this referral for the specific of the playground surfaces are now either sand or a rubberized surface that has hardened over time to a concrete consistency. The pathways are also sand. Stand by just a moment. And I would like to recommend that with the pathways, they could use a stabilized granite. It's easy to maintain in place of sand. And with rubberized sand, sometimes you need rubberized surface. But I would recommend engineered wood fiber because it is rated 100% ADA compliant if maintained properly. So, yeah. Recommendation, city wood chips or engineered wood fiber. It's a fantastic product if it's maintained well. And it's, rubberized with the sand is more expensive. So just my thoughts, my input for the meeting last month, or last meeting.
Okay, I believe, was there another commissioner with their hand up for referral to staff? Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Laurie, I had emailed John the Rock, I don't know, a few weeks ago about a few residents who approached me. The group that does fitness in the parking lot in Wilderness Park. And at the time that they contacted me, that the lights hadn't been updated to the new daylight saving schedule, so that they were doing their exercise in the pitch black, basically.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so I had emailed John. I just don't know if that was processed or.
Okay. Could you please just resend that to me? Do you still have it?
Yes, I do. I can resend that.
Just please send it to me. That is something I can, ask Public Works right away.
Okay, great.
Okay, any other referrals?
Yes.
Staff? Oh.
Actually, I would look at two. One is, again, several emails were sent to John LaRock concerning the status of the fence line along the dog park. And for one reason or another, no response was ever given to the dog park for that. So I was kind of curious, will the dog park have to go ahead and resend those emails to you? And hopefully that we get some answer from Public Works concerning the status of the repairs?
Yes, Commissioner Escondido, if you please resend them to me.
Okay, again, because they've been outstanding for well over a year. Probably seven emails that were sent out. So second one, my second question would be, is there a possibility, it may already exist, is a listing of the different entities that utilize city property and finding out who is in charge or has control of them, so that we can kind of determine whether or not they're being serviced properly. For example, we know that the ballparks are usually Little League, but do we have a contact number of somebody who's responsible for that and ensuring that the things are okay? Wilderness Park, for example, are we meeting their needs? Kind of along the lines like that of finding out who's responsible, and in this way, if we do need to contact them for a question or for a concern, that we can get to the right people. I'll give you an example. The board of directors of the dog park for well over 20 years have not received any information from the commission, or actually from sometimes some of actually the city it has on occasion, but from the board from this commission has not. And as a disclaimer, I will have to advise is that I've been on working with the dog park for well over 20 years myself. So the thing comes up is that if we have entities that are utilizing city property and such, that we know who they are, like the Morel house. Okay, do we know who in fact kind of that board of directors is in charge of that? And if there's any questions or concerns, we know directly who to contact instead of sending off a blind email. Hopefully somebody will find it. Is that a possibility?
I will have to look into that. I'll have to ask the question.
Okay, and at least a listing of these different entities in it, so we're aware of it, especially in case of an emergency, or even if there's, like, for example, the fire department's been approached as far as a safety zone in case of a fire in the area for animals and large animals and such to be utilized at the dog park. There was some talk about that. So ideally, someone from the dog park should be notified, or just like John LaRock would send an email saying, "Hey, the dog park's closed." So he would have to definitely know who to contact, or anyone else for that matter. Thank you.
Great.
Commissioner Almeida, did you want to, at this time, I'm just wondering, your comment about the stairs, this seems like that's more like a referral to staff. Do you want to transfer your previous comments or reiterate?
It'd be a great opportunity to do that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, if we could refer to the powers that need to look into that, I don't believe they need to be chained up. So definitely that's at the top of my list. My kids use it every day. I like to use it pretty regularly okay. Myself. And yes, if we could have somebody look into that, that'd be great. I also wanted to just say something about Commissioner Escontria's comment about people that use the city facilities. As far as leagues, both Commissioner McCauley and I were both very involved at Redondo Sunset for a number of years. And the problem with a lot of the leagues that work on city proper, that, you know, function on city property, is that every year there's a new set of faces. So that has to be updated very regularly, whether it's the president or the vice president or the field manager, which is what we call the person who's in charge of basically all the maintenance at the fields at Alta Vista. So that does have to be updated. If you get a list, for Redondo Sunset, it was September 1. That's when the new board was elected, and so we would get the names off of. I'm sure AYSO functions in a similar way.
Right,
so,
and I think with that is important, because the city actually every year renews a contractual agreement with everyone who utilizes some of these facilities as such, and therefore we're able to update it so we know in case, especially in an emergency, especially something goes on, we need to know about that. We know specifically who to contact and how to work with them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's usually the other way around. It's the leagues contacting the city because the sewer's backed up or the lights have gone out or whatever it is. But you're right. We should definitely have a list like that. That's for sure.
And if I could go on a little quick on that, and I'm not trying to open a can of worms, but I think occasionally we can ask them to come in to say, how are we doing? How are you doing? You know, and again, I mean, I know it's probably a can of worms because suddenly they're going to tell you all the needs that they have that we can't afford to do. But I think sometimes a little FaceTime with the people who live in this community can go a long way. That's all. I'm sorry to take your time. Thank you.
That's true. The last little bit of info that I wanted to talk about was that there has been talk, I believe, Mr. LaRock, about changing the backstopping and updating stop at Alta Vista on the Julia side, on the city side of the field. And I know we were pretty close to kind of getting the wheels moving on this, and then COVID happened and it's been at still. But I know that Redondo Sunset is still very interested in making sure that that happens on the city side of Alta Vista and updating the backstop, because we've done work and that side of the field is still needing a pretty significant update, and it's been expressed to Redondo Sunset that the city will take on that project, but there is no start date. There's, we have no idea when that was going to get started.
So Alta Vista, city side off Julia side, the back.
On the Julia side, yeah.
Painting.
That's it for me. I spoke a lot, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are there any other commissioners with referrals to staff? I'm sorry, guys. I see hands raised, but I can't can't see who they belong to on my screen.
It's strange.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I will make the last referral to staff. I apologize to everybody. I had no idea. It's my first time as chairperson. I had no idea I could not make a motion, but I guess that makes sense. So I guess if I'm allowed, I will make a referral to staff to please, I suppose, have staff, if it's not above their pay grade, to please revisit the signage that is posted outside parks in regard to COVID. Making sure that all parks have some sort of signage because they don't currently. And B, to just revisit the language and the purpose of the state signage, but in particular the parks that don't have signs, so that the city does not get sued once again. And that's it for me. I believe, unless there are any other items, do I
Make a motion to adjourn.
am I allowed to do that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Well, I guess the next time I see you, the holidays will be over and we'll be second month into a new year. So everyone have a wonderful holiday and we'll see you in 2021.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
everyone.
much for your work.
Thanks, Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Right. Take
All right.
care.